The next Disney princess live-action remake will star none other than Eugenia Cooney. Yay! Anyone have a problem with that? Well, if you do, if you think a film marketed to young girls featuring a lead actress who is severely underweight might be harmful or worth questioning, you're actually body shaming, or you're just jealous of Eugenia Cooney's body, or whatever is left of it. I just got back from seeing Wicked for Good. The film is visually stunning. Both Ariana and Cynthia can sing. They're very talented. However, they clearly need help. I am all about live and let live, but that's kind of the point, right? To live, not sit back and watch someone get smaller and smaller and smaller, or eat themselves to death. So today I want to talk about a few different things, right? I want to talk about the right and wrong way to have these kinds of conversations, because there are two extremes happening right now, right? One side, she's perfect no matter what. Let's all pretend like we can't see her bones. Or which. Okay, everyone should take a breath and let's talk about it. Last time I talked about Cynthia and Ariana's relationship. Also these strange identity shifts that Ariana Grande seems to go through. Now she's in her little girl, like innocent era again, constantly changing personas. And I know that she has been through a lot. But when I talk about Ariana in this movie, I am talking about the pressure that the audience feels to pretend that they do not see something that is plainly visible.
I just find it concerning that they spent $400 million on a movie starring her. And at no point did they say, your skeleton is distracting us. She has been in my top 5 artists since I was 12. I will defend her till the day I die. I feel very paternal over this woman. I love her to death. I really do. Did no one stop and say, girl, we can see your skeleton? The entire movie, you can see her face caving in. We're beyond a point of nitpicking and saying, oh, she could do this, oh, she could do that. The entire 2 hours and 50 minutes that I was watching Wicked, I was literally just concerned about her.
The film was great. Again, I'm not usually a huge fan of musicals, but I enjoyed both movies. However, what is happening with Ariana Grande specifically, Cynthia as well, but it's all distracting, right? Especially the girl in the bubble scene. That was a hard watch in particular. Whether you like it or not, little girls look up to characters like this, so it matters what we choose to normalize. This whole thing reminds me of The Emperor's New Clothes, a story about collective denial. Everyone sees the truth, but they convince themselves they are not allowed to acknowledge it. Like I said before, if an actress, for example, or actor suddenly developed a huge facial tumor, people would naturally ask what is going on. That wasn't there before. They should get that checked out. If everyone around them insisted nothing was there and they demanded you ignore it, that would be very, very strange. That's what's happening right now when an actress appears severely underweight. This is not skinny shaming. There is skinny, and then there is this. This is normalizing an unhealthy weight. It is wrong when we do it with public figures who are literally obese, and it is wrong when we do it in this case as well. Some people are naturally on the skinnier side. Some are on the bigger side. If they're healthy, that's what matters, right? Body positivity is about things that are not harmful. So stretch marks, scars, disabilities, things people cannot control and things that are not harming them. Not for situations where people are actively starving themselves or eating themselves to death. So when a physical change is this visible, especially in a major film aimed at young audiences, the conversation becomes cultural rather than personal. Oh, I don't like Ariana, I don't like that. No, she is beautiful, she is talented. We genuinely are worried for her. It's not good to put her on the big screen, pretend like that is normal, and have little girls and boys, especially little girls, look up to her. And the fandom surrounding her creates an environment where acknowledging what you see is treated as cruel, hateful, forbidden, especially those who have these parasocial relationships with not just Ariana Grande, with celebrities in general. Those people act like they know that celebrity personally and that they must protect them at all costs. In their minds, protecting someone means shutting down any honest conversation about a person who is clearly struggling. This is not, oh, Ariana has a scar, she's a bit skinny, she's a bit chubby. That's not what this is.
So this entire image is intentional. The costuming is intentional. The shoulder gems are intentional. And they are meant to draw attention to exactly what everybody thinks they are meant to draw attention to. So for everybody who's out there saying that these are not things that we should be talking about, I think that is absolutely incorrect. The only way that content does not continue to move in a more pro-Anna direction is if people begin to talk about it. And the fact that we have watched all 3 of the leading ladies in these movies move in that direction physically, it's clear that the health of their performers was not a priority. I'm just saying that things like this don't happen by accident. And the correct answer is to say that we see it and that it is not subliminal and that we are worried for the people experiencing it and that people aren't supposed to look like this. These people didn't look like this. So you should not look at these people and think that you should also look like this.
And to anyone who says that people talking about this are just jealous, you need help. I'm not saying that to be dramatic. I mean it seriously. If you watch this movie, you looked at Ariana Grande and you decided anyone could be jealous of her current body, you need to seek help because that mindset is dangerous. A healthy adult human should not look like that. There is a responsible way to address visible weight changes. You stick to what is observable, right? You do not speculate about causes because we don't know. She doesn't owe us an explanation. I don't know what happened to her or Cynthia or Michelle, who all have become visibly thinner since the movie began filming. But this is still a conversation that needs to exist because we should not take obese individuals, for example, like those mukbang influencers who are literally dying, and say, okay, let's give you a leading role in a film marketed toward children, as if that's normal and healthy. The same principle applies here. You keep the focus on how audiences interpret what they see, not on their personal life. You treat it the same way you would treat any noticeable physical change in a performer. Honest, right, respectful, grounded in reality, not in complete denial. Yes, we can talk about the odd interactions that she's had with Ariana in these interviews, the constant crying, the moments that do not feel professional at all, visibly making the interviewers uncomfortable. I also have seen, well, that's just how a lot of lesbian relationships work. That's normal. No, believe me, that's not the case. Any healthy relationship, doesn't matter if it's straight, gay, whatever, it should not look like that. Especially in professional environments. Fixing necklaces, holding nails, crying 24/7, that's not normal regardless of your sexuality. And again, we can talk about that. That could be a PR stunt. That could be trauma bonding. That could be related to their shared weight loss. But none of that should ever be used as an excuse to be actually racist or actually homophobic. Some people are using this whole situation as an excuse to be cruel toward Ariana or Cynthia. Now, listen, dark humor exists on the internet whether anyone likes it or not. I'm not saying it's great to be posting things like those skeleton memes. However, that is not surprising. That's not shocking. The internet will always behave like that. But what I do find strange, hypocritical, is the amount of Christians specifically who are being absolutely disgusting toward them. Not all Christians, not all. There are plenty who can voice their concerns logically or say something like, okay, I'll pray for her, for him. But then you have people using this as an opportunity to be racist as well towards Cynthia, calling her a creature, using slurs, coming from people who claim to love thy neighbor, dehumanizing them in that way. And also, just because they are wealthy or famous doesn't mean they're not people. The rise of these religious individuals out here screaming demon at someone who is struggling with their weight. Now listen, I respect people's right to believe in whatever they want. If you believe in demons, in witches, the tooth fairy, whatever, that's your business. Faith is personal, but there is a difference between believing in spiritual things, right, and using those beliefs to dehumanize real people. That is gross. Yeah. And I cannot believe we're still having this conversation in 2025. Almost 2026. I've always said, right, the terms like offensive, bigot, racist, that's offensive, this is offensive, that gets thrown around so much that it loses its meaning. But now it's swinging to the opposite direction, the opposite extreme, where people are not just overusing those words, they are actually being hateful in the literal sense. They feel justified in cruelty because they twist religion into a shield for their behavior. That's not cute. It shuts down any real conversation about the actual problem here, which is that these women are unwell. They need support, not spiritual name calling from strangers who think that their cruelty is holy. I talk about it a lot, especially with Hollywood mocking Christianity. That's their go-to. I'm against it. But this is not the solution. This is awful. If you are a Christian or some other religion, whatever, you believe in reincarnation, in reading auras, okay, whatever helps you sleep at night, fine.
Here's proof that Ariana Grande worships Satan.
Ariana Grande's entire auric field has changed drastically within the last 5-6 years. This is somebody that at one point had a beautiful green, yellow, and pink aura to having a straight gray aura. Ariana Grande's soul has been recycled lifetime after lifetime in the same family. Her soul is trapped in this reincarnation cycle.
And instead of acknowledging like visible health issues here, some of them are jumping straight to demon, witch, dark aura. How is it possible to have an actual conversation? I think reality is a better place to start, right? Something we can agree on when it comes to science, to biology, to health and weight. It's like if I sat you down and wanted to talk about how we portray public figures in media and how it affects younger audiences. Instead of focusing on the main issue here, I start saying, well, you can pretend all you want. You can pretend like you don't see it, but Ariana Grande is actually an elf. Yes, Ariana Grande is an elf, and Cynthia is a reindeer, and they have both sold their souls to Santa. And that is why they look ill and strange. What are you supposed to do with that? The conversation ends, unless we have to now pivot to debating whether or not Santa is real. But I suggest when it's something urgent like this, we have to focus on what is in front of us, which is Hollywood sliding back into unhealthy beauty standards. We're in the Ozempic era now, I guess, and it's looking more and more like over 10 years ago when Anna was being normalized, especially with models. That is very concerning. And I just wonder, why do we have to bounce from one extreme to the other, right? From glorifying obesity in the media to glorifying Anna. From saying people who are severely underweight are perfect and beautiful just the way they are, to calling them disgusting demons the moment they struggle. People with Anna are usually operating from fear, right? Distorted perception. Pretending nothing is wrong can make the illness feel justified or invisible. Ariana, maybe Cynthia as well, and any woman or man out there who is struggling with this, you should know, as cliche as it sounds, right? You are not alone. You do not have to go through this alone. There are people out there who are concerned for you, who want to help. And the key here is that professional treatment is what makes the real difference, right? Support from loved ones, even from fans, whatever, that matters. But it cannot replace proper help. Help I hope Ariana Grande gets. Silence helps no one. Aggressive shaming helps no one. Reverting back to the Salem witch trials helps no one. Honest, compassionate acknowledgement sits in the middle, I'd say, right? But definitely not accepting cultural pressure to stay silent. And that's all for today's video, guys. You let me know what you think in the comments below. Also remember to like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.